Ladies and gentlemen, what is going on, everybody? This is Joseph Conlon here on Friday, March 5th, 2021, with your AEW Revolution preview and predictions. Woo! We got a big pay-per-view coming up this weekend from AEW. 8 matches, 1 buy-in match. We have a street fight, a ladder match, a big money match where somebody is going to be rich. And of course, we have the exploding barbed wire death match for the AEW World Championship. We're going to break it down for you all here today. And I thank you for joining me here on the Big Fight Fuel channel. Before we get started, though, I'm going to introduce my guest for this very preview and predictions. He is a very good friend of mine. He is absolutely one of the most positive people I know in the entire IWC. He loves pro wrestling just like I do. He is a part of the No DQ podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, my good friend, and of course, he is also a part of the ATW family. Ladies and gentlemen, my good friend, Noah Foster. My man, how are you doing tonight?
Hey, I am doing great. It is awesome to be with you on your platform finally. Been a great fan of it. Congrats on all your growth, progression, and success. And I could not be more excited for what people are truly believing that at this point could top last year's pay-per-view of the year, voted on by Wrestling Observer fans, and that was last year's Revolution. You got a little bit of everything and more. I'm ready to go.
I'm ready to go too, man. They're putting a lot of pressure on themselves for this show. They're saying this is the biggest pay-per-view of 2021. Last year's Revolution was voted as the top pay-per-view by Wrestling Observer, which, by the way, I don't really take those awards that seriously.
Yeah,
but they're putting a lot of pressure on themselves, and their goal, AEW, is to top themselves every pay-per-view. And I think it's going to be very hard to top what they did at Full Gear, because that was the best match card AEW has ever had. And in my opinion, that was the best pay-per-view they have ever had. So I have no idea how they're going to top Full Gear with this Revolution card. But overall, I think the card is loaded. There's some pretty nice matches on there. Before we dive into the show itself, what do you think about the Revolution card itself given to us on Sunday night?
I look at this card versus last year's card. I think about what matches were truly the strongest story built, but also had the most emotional impact even going into it. I think back to AEW Revolution last year with the Bucks versus Hangman and Omega. And I think about this year's tag team match being as emotional, but maybe not as far as foundated when it comes to the overall investment value. But I look at other matches here that surpass that, and I feel like right now the biggest ace in their hole is this exploding barbed wire death match. Again, it's a card that's given us everything. All the titles are on the line. Variety of single matches. We have a first-time ever tag team casino battle royale, and we have championship showcases and first-time ever matchups too. So I feel like this card is got the good type of balance last year's did, but I feel that right now they're really trying to push the bar that they set last year, not just with Revolution, but with Full Gear as well. I think it's very well built.
Yeah, I do too. You look at some of the main matches on this card, of course, the exploding barbed wire match. And we'll talk more about this as far as we go in the video. But you got great storylines like the Sting match. It's been very good built. A very underrated match that a lot of people aren't talking about that I think story-wise has been almost excellent is the big money match between Matt Hardy and Hangman Adam Page. I don't know about you, dude, but I love that, you know?
You think about the statement, big money, big match. Put it together, big money match. A match that literally exemplifies high stakes financially.
Yes.
I love the way they're going about this and the way Matt Hardy has once again reinvented his character, but has pushed forward other talent as well since he's leading Private Party and TH2. And then you, of course, have the story of everyone's favorite anxious millennial cowboy trying to find himself but maybe more so, maybe trying to find a home since, of course, he is no longer in the elite. This one right here is one of the most unique stories that I don't see ending at Revolution versus some others. I see it continuing regardless of result.
Oh, that's very interesting. We'll get to talk about that once we get into that. But if you guys have not already, before we dive into all of this, make sure you go check out last night's AEW Dynamite Crossroads review here on the channel. We talk about the Go Home show, the excellent Go Home show I thought it was, with Shaquille O'Neal and everything. And check out my NXT review that I did yesterday as well. So both of those reviews up on the channel. Simple Man, Noah Foster, are you ready to get started on this card, my sir?
Let's break it down.
Let's go. So we got the buy-in match that was announced on Dynamite this past week. It is a tag team match between Thunder Rosa and Riho versus Britt Baker and Rebel. Now, I don't know if you guys listened to AEW Unrestricted with Tony Khan. I will talk about more of that on Saturday. But he said the reason this match is happening is because Thunder Rosa and Riho, if you guys did not know, they had a great match in the Women's Eliminator Tournament. Thunder Rosa went over. She then eventually lost to Nyla Rose. So TK thought it'd be a good idea to put Thunder Rosa and Riho together as a team to go up against Britt Baker and her manager. I think it'll be a fine match. It's not that, I don't think anything crazy is going to happen in this match, but I think it'll be a good match. It'll be a good way to get people, to buy the show, hopefully last minute, and get eyes on the pay-per-view. And I'm just going to go out there and I'm going to say the baby faces are going to win. I'm going to take Thunder Rosa and Riho for this match on the buy-in. The floor is yours.
All right. So here's my thing about the buy-ins. You've noticed lately with pay-per-view buy-ins for AEW particularly, they have been headlined either by tag team matches or a championship showcase, men or women-wise. The last time we had a women's tag team match, ironically, was last year's Revolution. And who did that involve? Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. There's a lot of moving parts here, as of course, Thunder Rosa wants a piece of the Doctor, who did beat her under, I would say, asterisk circumstances. And of course, Riho versus Britt Baker is a one-on-one that has yet to happen, but has still got story potential all the way back in the early first year of AEW. And the fact that Reba, not Rebel, but it is Rebel, she might not even be involved in this because of Nyla Rose literally obliterating her, where Dr. Britt Baker might pick her own partner. I could see maybe her picking up, I don't know, Ford or Emi Sakura. There's different ways it could go, but I look at what can lie ahead. And right now, I look at what happened with Riho and Thunder Rosa. Incredible match, by the way. Mm-hmm. I think that the two respect each other following that bout. Will pick up the win here. And the bottom line, both those two are going to continue having beef with the good doctor. Why she won't be champion? It is still definitely Britt Baker's division. But I got the baby faces going over as well.
Nice. I think it should be a good opening match and hopefully a good way to bring people into the Revolution card. Let's start with the main card for Revolution, and it was announced on the AEW Unrestricted podcast that the opening match would be MJF and Chris Jericho versus the Young Bucks for the Tag Team Championships. This is a stat. This is the first time AEW is ever going to open up a pay-per-view with a championship match. Believe it or not, they have never opened up a pay-per-view with a championship match. And I think this is a great way to open up the show. You got the Young Bucks, who is the best tag team in the world, in my opinion. And they are in a personal rivalry with MJF and Jericho. I said this last night. When MJF and Jericho won the Battle Royal at Beach Break, I was like, okay, we're going to get MJF and Jericho going for the titles. Should be a good match. I'm not really sure what the story's going to be. They have absolutely nailed this storyline the last 2 weeks with MJF and Jericho getting great heel heat on themselves, attacking Papa Buck, the Young Bucks coming out last night during the press conference and addressing this as personal to Matt Jackson, saying if it wasn't for Papa Buck, there wouldn't be any AEW, and the whole Chris Jericho jerking the curtain at the Performance Center, which was pretty funny. But this has been a great build. I believe this went from a match that I'm not really looking forward to on the card, but it should be good, to, this is a top 3 match I'm looking forward to on the card. The story is there. The match should be very good. The crowd investment is there. I think they have nailed almost everything with this storyline going into Revolution, and I think they're going to open up the show with an absolutely fire of a tag team match. But I'm going to hand it over to you first for this one, Noah. Who do you got in the opening match for the tag team titles, MJF and Jericho or the Young Bucks?
This is going to be wild. And you talk about the Bucks emotionally driven, literally making it personal, attacking family. Shout out to Papa Buck, by the way. That is one tough old man. I look at this match and I think about who could have more potential storylines ahead related to the tag team titles versus what's already some story in itself, and that is the Inner Circle fine? Because we know a name you're not going to mention because MJF and Jericho tirade Carmen Thompson about it. That name is still going to come into play eventually against those two. But do I see it coming into play with those two as tag team champions? No, I actually have the Young Bucks retaining here. When I think about everything going on with the Elite, how the Elite is forever, how the Good Brothers helped get the Young Bucks a little bit of retribution against the Inner Circle on behalf of their papa, literally helping them take out Proud and Powerful. I still believe they're going to be out ringside with Wardlow and Hager because their circle has a numbers game. I think about who could face the Young Bucks next, whether it's Good Brothers or somebody else in another match we'll talk about later. I think about what could ultimately happen with MJF and Jericho losing. They could go like, you know who I blame for this? Oh, I know who I blame for this. Sammy Guevara, and that further lines that story as well. This is going to be a great way to set the pace of the night. It's going to be a clinic of athleticism and a wild opener. As again, this history is a championship match. First time in AEW history is opening the show. Well, I mean, technically Bayern had Allison K versus Deeb for the NWA Women's Championship. Not going to discount that, but main card wise.
Yes.
Regardless, I'm going with the Bucks all the way right now. I still see potential with them when it comes to them being still leading this division as tag team champions. MJF and Jericho, there's a different way this tandem can go, and I don't see them going as champs. Chance retained.
Yep, I absolutely agree. There is more for MJF and Jericho to do without the titles. I think we all know what I think the X factor in this match is not even in the match, and his name is the name that Conrad Thompson mentioned last night, Sammy Guevara. He is absolutely the X factor in this match. He will make his presence felt and get himself involved in this match somehow, costing MJF and Jericho. So their story is going to be with Sammy Guevara and then eventually Santana and Ortiz. I think they're going to be done with the Inner Circle very soon. Their days are numbered. And the Young Bucks, they still have a lot of room to go as the tag team titles champions. I'm not going to say, they're going to hold them on until the All Out or whatever. But I could see the Bucks taking the tag team titles into Double or Nothing and dropping them to a tag team that has been on the uprise and has been in a pretty good feud with FTR. I see the Bucks dropping the titles to the Jurassic Express at Double or Nothing at the next pay-per-view. So I am taking the Bucks to retain the AEW Tag Team Champions. Mr. Foster over here agrees with me, and we both are taking the Young Bucks to retain the tag team titles. Now, speaking of tag teams, oh boy, we got a lot of tag teams in this match. It is the first ever Casino Tag Team Battle Royal, with what Tony Khan confirmed on the podcast on Unrestricted. There are going to be 15 tag teams. And believe it or not, folks, I have all the tag teams so far confirmed, memorized. So we got Butcher and Blade, Proud and Powerful, Private Party, Uno and Grayson, Silver and Reynolds, Top Flight, Bear Country, Varsity Blondes, Gun Club, 10 and 5 of the Dark Order, and Pac and Ray Phoenix. So I believe that is 11 teams announced for the battle royal, with 4 to be named. And literally, I think you can make a lot of cases for tag teams. You can make a case for Proud and Powerful. They're a great tag team. I think they could use a nice win, even though they just fought for the tag team titles. You could put them in there. Butcher and Blade, man, they have had great matches with the Young Bucks in the past over AEW. They had them about a year ago, and that was Dynamite, January of 2020, I think. They had a very good match there. July of 2020, they had a Falls Count Anywhere match. That's what I'm thinking of. That was excellent. The Falls Count Anywhere match they had. And then you have a tag team that I think is very underrated in this match, and I'm starting to be a big fan of the Varsity Blondes, Garrison and Pillman Jr. I didn't really like them as a tag team at first. I didn't really like Griff Garrison that much when he first came to AEW, but they have grown on me fast. They have had great matches with MJF and Jericho. They had a good match with Team Taz, and I wouldn't mind them winning this match at all. But I'm gonna take a wild card here. I'm gonna take Pac and Ray Phoenix. I might get it wrong. That's okay. But I'm going to take Pac and Ray Phoenix, and it's actually going to imply with the Face of the Revolution ladder match. So I'm going to take Pac and Ray Phoenix to win this crazy Casino Tag Team Battle Royal. And I'm going to take my runner-ups to be Silver and Reynolds of the Dark Order. I think they'll have a very good match and probably, I think, make it to the end with Phoenix and Pac. Floor is yours, man. Who do you got in this crazy Casino Tag Team Battle Royal?
Jeez. And with 4 unknowns, too. I mean, I guess a team you could put in is Lee Johnson or Aaron Solo, newly found dead in the Nightmare family. They might pull a swerve, put in Peter Avalon and Cesar Bononi. They might bring in a team from something else. I have no idea the state of the Moisty Machine Guns. I know that's a match people would love to see revisited in AEW with the fact that we have the Forbidden Door and the industry wide open. And then, of course, there's the Good Brothers, and I wonder if they would put themselves in this as well, because Young Bucks even said if they literally won that or tag team battle that Jericho and MJF won, they would have picked them as their opponents. And that still leaves even another unknown. The thing is, when it comes to AEW, the tag team division is the deepest, most dynamic, in-depth tag team division in the wrestling industry today, probably ever. And that's why this is so unpredictable and can go any team's way. I think about personal favorites. I think about those that haven't even challenged for the titles at all. So right out of the gate, I'm just going to say that one of my key picks to win, Butcher and Blade, took it to the Young Bucks in that crazy Fall Count Anywhere match. They had another match, like you said, a banger last year. Butcher and Blade have been a standout tag team for me with Allie. Yay, Allie. And I love this trio, and I really want to see them one day lead as champions. So one of my picks is actually Butcher and the Blade. With that being said, before I knew these other teams in this Battle Royale, despite the fact we still know some, I really wonder how you can surprise us and what other match can be made for the titles ahead of the next pay-per-view, Double or Nothing, where FTR and Jurassic Express, I feel like one of those two teams is inevitable to challenge for the titles. So just because I really wonder, I personally would think that the Lucha Brothers would be the next ones to take them off the Bucks because of the history they had and how bad people want them to be champions. I'm curious what this dynamic of Pac and Ray Phoenix can do against the champs. We've seen how effective they are in Dynamite. So I'm going to go with them. Despite the fact I don't know 4 unknowns and maybe it could be unknown to win, I'm going with, in this order, Butcher and Blade, who have never had a tag team title match, and this new dynamic in Death Triangle, Pac and Ray Phoenix. Those are my picks. But again, this can go any team's way, and I won't be disappointed.
If you had to pick one of those two tag teams, Butcher and Blade or Pac and Phoenix, if they're the final two, who do you got walking out?
Oh, God.
You knew I was going to ask you that question.
I know. And that's fair. I mean, Pac gave Omega one of the best matches of the year in that freaking 3-man Iron Man, and Ray Phoenix is so unbelievable. The fact he's now involved in the TNT title, it still baffles me, which we'll talk about later. Again, I want to see what this tandem can do. So if I have to pick one, especially because I know right now, Butcher and Blade, personal favorites, they are feuding with Bear Country. I will go with Pac and Ray Phoenix. Unknown team for now.
You got it. And I'm going to apply that to what I think with the Face of the Revolution ladder match. But yes, I got Pac and Phoenix. Noah has Pac and Phoenix. We got the AEW Women's World Championship with Ryu Mizunami against Hikaru Shida. This will be a Joshi-style wrestling match. So I am expecting a hard-hitting match between these two ladies. I'm expecting a physical match. And I think this is going to be an underrated match. A lot of people aren't happy with the way the tournament went, but I thought it made sense. Mizunami was coming to America, and she was not going to have one match and lose. She was not going to lose to Nyla Rose, and she's getting this shot. I'm pretty happy for her. Do I think she's going to win, though? Ooh, she'll come close. I'm going to say no. Shida is going to be that women's champion, but it feels inevitable. It just feels so inevitable that Shida is going to drop that championship soon, and I think it's going to be to Britt Baker. I think we all know Britt has really climbed that ladder since she has turned heel. She is on her game, and she needs to be the women. She says she's the face of the women's division, but I think to confirm that, she needs to be champion. So I'm going to go Shida, but Shida is not, her days as the women's champion are numbered. So who do you got for this match for the women's title?
First off, can we respect the fact that AEW is putting more focus in women's wrestling and the women's division, despite the fact you did not get the predictable, but you got amazing showcasing and matches from everybody involved in this tournament. More TV time also on Dynamite. Kudos to everybody involved. There was no way they were going to do this Joshi Pro showcase, led and produced by Shida, without having somebody go through this tournament to be a definitive potential winner in this thing in the finale. And I'm so glad we're getting a first time ever Joshi Pro wrestling style match. Full contact, fighting spirit, strong style, smash mouth, in your face, physical championship affair. These two are not strangers to each other. They faced each other at Pro Wrestling East 12th anniversary show back in August 2019, shortly after the initial Double or Nothing before AEW Diamond existed. So literally, I was like, I need this match in AEW. Rhea Mizunami was one of the standouts for me in that 6-woman tag. I'm so darn glad she won. But Nyla Rose, hell of an effort. Now, with that being said, Rhea Mizunami to me exhibits Okada-type spirits. I love her character, love her vibe. I can't wait to see these two tear into each other. But as you literally summed it up, the champion to come eventually is the one we all want to lead a division with the gold. And that is Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. But it will be against a retaining, as far as I know, this Sunday, and still the longest reigning AEW Women's Champion, Hikaru Shida. Despite the fact these two went to literally a double count-out draw near 20 minutes back in 2019, I don't see there being a draw here. I see there being a definitive winner with that running knee strike. Maybe two. I have Shida retaining.
Now, we're going to move on to the next match pretty soon, but you brought up the tournament and the showcase of the Japanese and the American side of the tournament, and I saw one of your tweets Monday night after the Nyla Rose and Thunder Rosa match. Who impressed you in this tournament for the Eliminator tournament? I'm going to give one for the women on the U.S. side, and then one for the women on the Japanese side. I believe I told you on the American side, I said Ty Conti. Even though she got eliminated in the first round, she had a great match with Nyla Rose. She is coming up fast in the women's division. I see her as a mega babyface. Unfortunately, Anna Jay, I saw her as that mega babyface with the Dark Order, but she is out with a shoulder injury for 6 to 12 months, unfortunately. So I see Ty Conti being that big mega babyface in the women's division, I think. And I think she impressed me in the match with Nyla Rose, even though she lost. And I see big things for her. Now, on the women's side, I have been a fan. We've seen her on AEW Dynamite before. I'm a big fan of her. She is super over. Her name is Yuka Zakazaki. Yes, it is not Maki Ito, folks. It is Yuka. It is Yuka Zakazaki. She is so good. I think she's very fluid in the ring. She had a great match in the final with Ryu Mizunami. If you haven't checked that match out, I would go check that out. That was a banger, that match last Sunday night. But I think Yuka impressed me. I was a little disappointed that she lost, but I hope to see her on AEW Dynamite soon. She is just so good, and I miss her on AEW. So who impressed you the most on both sides
Well,
One
first
each.
off, sign legit Layla Hirsch for Pete's sake, because she constantly impresses me. I was kind of hurt she was eliminated with a round, but again, Thunder Rosa kind of got the tough card, top seed. But to take what you just said, Ty Conti, literally just 3 years in a wrestling career, came so far since her AEW Diamond debut with Nyla Rose. She was squashed within 5 minutes. She took it to the native beast where she was this close, just got lost in the momentum and in the moment, wasn't sure what to do, dishing out everything with her judo and mixed martial arts background, coming so close. Her best career match to date, and I will stand by it. Tai Kanji, Nyla Rose. Tai Kanji was the absolute standout for me on the American side. As far as the Japanese side, I'm also not Maki Ito, though I do appreciate she does do the Kokeshi, because that makes me happy as a fan who's been pro wrestling. Venny and Emi Sakura had an amazing opening bout, near 15 minutes. Venny exemplifying a ton of attitude, strong style, got a ridiculous roundhouse kick. I liked her presentation, and I really thought for a moment she could overcome the veteran, while she has less than 7 years, I believe, of in-ring wrestling experience. So if they do bring back one person from Joshi Pro, besides Maki Ito, I hope to see more Venny. So just stand out like that. Tai Kanji and Venny. Kudos to what both brought in this tournament.
Absolutely, I could totally agree with that. We had the Face of the Revolution ladder match with Cody Rhodes, Scorpio Sky, Penta El Cielo Miedo, Lance Archer, Max Caster of the Acclaimed, and a mystery. Ooh, who could that be? I said I would tie this into the Casino Tag Team Battle Royal, and I'm going to do that. I have Penta El Cielo Miedo winning this tag team match. Now, this Revolution match. Now, what do I see happening? Realistically, I think Pac is better fitted for the TNT Championship than the tag team titles. So what I could see happening is Pac somehow influences Penta to go for the tag team titles with his brother while he faces Darby Allin for the TNT Championship. And the winner of this match is going to get Darby Allin next Wednesday on TNT on Dynamite. They're not wasting any time with this. So I'm going to make a bold prediction that I'm going with Penta to win the ladder match, and he is going to give his spot to Pac. And we're going to get Pac versus Darby Allin on Dynamite for the TNT Championship. That's pretty bold. That's a pretty bold prediction, but I'm going to stick with it. And by the way, I expect this match to be absolutely incredible. I see all 6 men, whoever the last man is too, I see all 6 men putting it all out there, giving it all they got, and giving us an incredible ladder match. Who do you got in this Face of the Revolution ladder match?
These ladder matches, they just seem like they try to surpass one another in AEW. I can only imagine what sort of craziness we're going to see. Cody, inaugural TNT champion. Lance Archer, chance to be inaugural champion. Penta CLM has never had a chance for TNT title. Max Caster, luck from a pay negotiation. I don't even know how he fits in this, but I guess you need somebody to take like a bump or somebody to be like, and out of nowhere possibly could win this. I would not deny the man's talent. He's actually pretty good. And then the TBA is the most unknown, the most curious, the one you think that might win, like Brian Cage when he won the Casino ladder match last year at Double or Nothing in his debut. I mean, could it be somebody from New Japan like Rocky Romero? Could it be somebody from Impact like Chris Bay? Could it be somebody that hasn't been involved in AEW for a while but signed? But I look at basically what you just said as far as Penta El Cielo Miedo, who has never had a chance at the TNT title, and the dynamic of him and Darby Allin could offer a lot of wild unpredictability and physicality, and I can see him challenging for the title next. So I literally do have Penta LCRM winning this ladder match as far as this goes, because I don't see Cody and Darby being revisited. That was just too big a moment last year when Cody literally passed up the title to Darby Allin at Full Gear after being caught in a simple wrestling move. Scorpio Sky's been kind of MIA for a while. I'm not really sure where his place is right now, or if he should be near the TNT title at this moment. And I feel like the unknown here is going to just play further towards maybe furthering a story. Wouldn't surprise me if he furthers a story with Cody, who, of course, really is kind of the guy you need to wrestle to really stand out and make a name for yourself in AEW. Calling it like I see it. But I got Penta winning this match, one way or another.
Nice. So I think this should be an incredible match. And yeah, I do see Penta winning this match and with a big bold prediction. Tag team match. I my honest opinion, I would have had this on the buy-in. It
Oh
is
Lord.
it is Chuck Taylor and Orange Cassidy versus Kip Sabian and Miro. Um, I don't want to say I love Orange Cassidy. I love Miro. Chuck Taylor's excellent. Kip is good. I'm not really that invested in this match. They had the wedding. The wedding was okay. At this point, I don't even know what they're fighting over in this rivalry, but we're getting this tag team match. I guess it's the big blow off match, and we'll see what happens. I'm going to give it to you first for this tag team match and see who you got winning and why.
Well, let's just say right now, the best man Fang needs to stop. We saw a subtle tease of maybe Miro unleashing Hulk-like behavior against Kip when he got accidentally punched while handcuffed at the wedding thing. And more so, I feel like this is just redemption with the pain they put Orange through with Chuck being a butler, saying Miro's my best friend, and also the fact Trent is also injured. If Trent was involved in this, I truly would give it to Orange and Chuck. But I feel like right now, with everything going on for Miro, either right now or going forward in AEW, he needs to break out. He needs a breakout moment. He needs a big time win. Plus, you got four on the outside. That's going to be an extra influence, too. I kind of have, just because I want to see Miro go forward and maybe break beyond Kip, I have Miro getting the win here because he's tired maybe of Kip's shenanigans. Kip's not pulling the weight around here. And I see Miro basically giving some payback to Chuck, saying, I could have taught you to be a man. Now I have to crush you. But I hope he stops saying game over. I have Miro winning in the hopes that he breaks away from Kip and Ford, realizes what he is and who he is, and hopefully move away from this rivalry altogether. Miro and Kip to win.
Well, you're right. I do think that Miro, the best man gimmick, that needs to finish. You gotta get Kip. You gotta get Miro away from Kip. His money is by himself, and it's not in a tag. And it's not in a tag team. And I think how this goes is I'm actually going to give the win to Chuck Taylor and Orange Cassidy in this match. Kip Sabian, he's going to take the pinfall, and Miro is going to get all pissed off at the end of this match. He's like, you know what? I did so much for you. What'd you do for me? What'd you do for me? He's going to crush Kip, and he needs to get away from them. His money, his stock in AEW, his game is on his own. He does not need to be in a tag team with Kip Sabian. Kip Sabian, he's a good wrestler and all. He's funny on the Sammy Guevara vlog, but he needs to. I don't really see that much big potential championship material in Kip Sabian, and I do see that in Miro, and I see a big future for Miro, but that future needs to be without Kip Sabian and Penelope Ford. So with that case, I'm going to go on the side of Chuck Taylor and Orange Cassidy, and hopefully both sides can move on from this once and for all once we are done this match Sunday at Revolution.
Absolutely.
And then we have one of the biggest matches on the show. We have Team Taz's Ricky Starks and Brian Cage against the TNT champion Darby Allin and Sting in a street fight. In the street fight, this is gonna be crazy. A lot of people were nervous about Sting and could Sting bump, and Sting is 61 years old. Is this match gonna be cinematic? Listen, man, Sting took a bump from Brian. Sting has been brawling for the past 3 weeks. He took a power bomb from Brian Cage. He got in a brawl with Team Taz last Wednesday night on Dynamite. And he gave Ricky Starks a Stinger splash. I believe he gave him a Scorpion.
Death drop.
I always forget that finisher. And I think Sting looked good last night with Ricky Starks, and I think this is going to be one of the bigger matches on the card. I honestly think it's going to be one of the best matches on the card. This feud has been going on for 9 months. This is the big, in my opinion, this is it. This is it between Darby and Team Taz. This is the big blow-off match. This is everything that has happened in this rivalry. You let it all on the line in this match, and it's going to be a very good match. And actually, it's not that predictable in my opinion. Yeah, Sting's the TNT champion. Darby Allin, and Darby Allin's the TNT. Darby Allin's the TNT champion. Sting's making his first match back in about 5 years, since 2015. But you could also make a case for Brian Cage and Ricky Starks to win this match. Get some momentum on Team Taz. Make Team Taz a legit top faction in AEW. I think they could absolutely use this win. But since this is the big culmination, I think this is the end of the rivalry. They have been feuding for damn near 9 months now. I am going with Sting and Darby Allin to end this once and for all, and both sides to move on from each other. So I'm going with Sting and Darby Allin, and I expect this to be one fun street fight. What do you got, Mr. Foster?
Whether or not it's cinematic like it was first proposed, or now that we've seen Sting get physical and take bumps, which is unbelievable. But if anything's been taught to me in wrestling, age does not define if you can still go in the ring. Kaiji Muto, Exhibit A. Freaking champion for Wrestling Noah, signed 2 years. Just saying. Anyway, as far as this match goes, I believe it has to go, like you said, to end this once for all with Team Taz and Darby Allin. Darby and Sting have to win this. While underlined, it seems like it's more of a grudge between Taz and Sting. We've seen how physical Sting can get, and Sting basically, he has made Brian Cage look like a star. He has made Ricky Starks look like a star, but Ricky Starks literally tiraded him with a promo. And we've even seen Taz's son Hook get involved to an extent. To one point, Sting literally abducted the guy. There have been incredible angles and such great storytelling built for this, but going forward, I look at the TNT title at the forefront. Clearly, Sting sees something in Darby Allin. I think he's going to continue more of a mentorship role, and it's going to continue through this match, selling this grudge with Team Taz once for all. I have Sting and Darby Allin winning. And again, this really is one of those matches I feel like people are going to be like, I'm not sure how to interpret this, but by the end of it, they're going to be like, okay, that exceeded my expectations. Because again, folks, we're going to see Sting being physical in 2021. This is going to be awesome. Darby and Sting to win.
I'm going to top that with what you just said. That was the exact feeling people had with the Shaquille O'Neal match.
Boom, there you go.
They had very, very low expectations. And how did it turn out to be? It turned out to be pretty damn good. So
I believe we have not seen the last of the Shaq attack, and as somebody who literally watches wrestling, I have a new respect for basketball athletes after that. Shaq and Cody, you can give me that anytime. Incredible debut for Jade Cargill. Congrats, by the way, to Jay winning her debut. And honestly, that was probably my second most favorite match of the night. That was incredible.
Yeah, that was very good on the Dynamite Crossroads this past Wednesday night. But the street fight, we got the boys in paint walking out with the victory.
The hoodlums.
Yes. And then in this match, Mr. Foster, somebody is coming out of this match rich. Somebody's going to be rich. Somebody's going to have a lot of money. Somebody is going to be very, very poor. It is Matt Hardy and Hangman Page, and it is the big money match. Whoever loses 100% of their earnings from quarter one. We talked about this earlier in the intro. This is one of the most underrated matches, I think, on the card. This is a part of Hangman Page's journey. He is alone. He doesn't know what to do. All that stuff. Now he's got the Dark Order behind him. He's not officially with the group yet. Yes, Dark Order. He's not officially with the group yet, but he is, I guess, friends with the Dark Order. So I think they will have his back. And Matt Hardy, he's got Private Party, of course. He's got TH2. I think it will be a lot. I think that both sides will get involved in this match. It'll be a very chaotic scene. Hangman Page gets the buckshot lariat. I think he'll hit 2 box shots on Matt Hardy. And Hangman Page is going to come out of this match a very rich man. And to add on top of that, a lot of people have been wanting to see this lately. They didn't get it. They're saving it for a big show. Hangman Page will join the Dark Order Sunday at Revolution.
That is a bold prediction on that part, which I think is the inevitable end to this story. Because at the end of the day, this story surrounds Hangman and his journey and where he fits in AEW. And this has been pretty much brewing ever since what happened between him and Omega in that tournament. And yes, the Dark Order, and he may not be part of it, but I think they're like mutual friends at this point. You've seen the skits on BTE. You've seen the interactions on Dynamite. You've seen literally them go back for Hangman to save him from post-match beatdowns, etc. We literally just saw Heyman and John Silver beat Matt Hardy and Mark Quinn in a tag match. And the previous week, Isaiah Cassidy, very good in a singles match, by the way, he took on Heyman to try to hinder him. Heyman prevailed as well in that. When I look at everything that Heyman's going through, figuring out himself and all these problems and doubts, the one thing that Heyman doesn't need is money troubles. And it would be more hilarious to see Heyman buy the Dark Order a round of drinks and see how Matt Hardy reacts to losing a lot of money to see his big money Matt. You'll be some money, Matt, by the end of this. I got Heyman going over. But to further your idea, there's one other thing I want to think about. This is a war between Dark Order and Hangman at this point now, with Matt Hardy having personal banana against the Dark Order. Literally, it's them against Hardy Enterprises. Who knows who else Matt Hardy's going to invest in? But honestly, I see this grudge maybe going all the way to Double or Nothing and culminating in a big-time cinematic finish or all-out war, maybe Stadium Stampede type idea, because I know they want to try and make that an annual thing. You wonder who your home and away team's going to be in this year with everything going on in the wrestling industry. I can see them potentially doing that with Matt Hardy been doing everything in AEW. He's done a cinematic. He's done an extreme. Now we're going to see him truly give us a great wrestling match against Heyman and Page. Regardless, as far as right now, Heyman goes over. The Dark Order versus Matt Hardy with Heyman still figuring out himself continues. But Heyman's getting paid, baby, and then he's getting a bunch of whiskey afterwards.
Yes, sir. I could actually see that with what you just brung up there. I could easily see a Stadium Stampede 2 match with the Matt Hardy brand. You have him, you have Private Party, you have TH2, and then you have Hangman Page. I'd probably put Uno and Grayson in there, and I'd probably put John Silver and Alex Reynolds in that match too. I can easily see this being Stadium Stampede 2.0, or maybe if you want, you can put this at Blood and Guts. You could do Blood and Guts with this match too. There's a lot of possibilities with this feud, but it might continue after Revolution. We're just gonna have to wait and see what happens. But are you ready to talk about this main event, dude? Holy shit!
Yeah, holy shit! That's right. Oh my God in heaven.
My God, I hope we hope that Jon Moxley and Kenny Omega are going to be okay after this exploding barbed wire death match. That's how far this feud has came. It came to an exploding barbed wire death match where someone, if they get whipped into the ropes, exploding barbed wire is going off. There's gonna be a fire set. I don't know. It's crazy. Tony Khan said it in detail, but this is all I know is this is gonna be absolutely insane. I think this match alone is worth the Revolution pay-per-view. If you were to only give me this match on the card, I would go out of my way and watch this match. I think it's gonna be historic. I think it's gonna be chaotic. It's gonna be insane. I'm very excited for the exploding barbed wire death match. And I think this is probably the most predictable outcome of the night. As we all know, Jon Moxley's wife, Renee Paquette, she is pregnant. She is due to have a baby very soon. Jon Moxley, last week, to me, cut a goodbye promo. I don't know if I'm not saying it was absolutely a goodbye promo, but he said if I can't get the job, if somehow I lose this match, this will be a good way for me to go out. So I don't see him winning this match at all, nor should Kenny Omega even be dropping the World Championship right now. But I have got Kenny Omega to survive. I'm not even going to say win. He's going to survive the exploding barbed wire death match and retain the AEW World Championship. Mr. Foster?
We had Atsushi effing Onita, the guy pioneering behind this match, surviving from the 90s to tell the tales, saying that the little additions that Omega and Moxley have put into this make it sound even better. Good luck to both men. He wished he literally could be there. Imagine him on commentary. This is going to break the wrestling industry here in America because I don't think probably most people, especially this generation of fans, have never seen nor heard of this type of match. When you're a Renaissance man like me who watches New Japan Pro Wrestling and classic wrestling, I have seen the matches involving Mick Foley, Terry Funk, and Atsushi Onita, and more. There is explosions, there is seared flesh, there is C4, there is broken glass, there is a point of no return as you literally are risking your life. But as Kenny Omega put it, if he wants to truly prove why he is the best in the world of professional wrestling, he has to be the best on all games. And the only one right now that truly can rival him in that is the guy that I believe is the pioneer in death matches this generation. That is Jon Moxley.
Oh.
He lives for this. He breathes for this.
Absolutely.
He literally will die for this. And as he was reading like his last will to us, it felt like 2 weeks ago. And once again, promo of the year candidate so far. This is going to be Jon Moxley's greatest match to date. And honestly, could be Kenny Omega's greatest story to date. Because, like you said, the prediction seems absolutely 100% predictable, even though Jon Moxley successfully retained the IWGP United States Championship against Kenta, but that's a whole nother thing. This has to go to Kenny Omega's favor. Not just because it's a definitive end to a story, and it gives Jon Moxley that time to breathe, look from beyond, and spend time with his wife, who I'm sure they're going to have a long talk after this. But also, I feel it's inevitable Kenny Omega is going to challenge Impact World Champion. And we'll talk more about that post-sacrifice. Bottom line is this. Good luck to both men. You will survive to tell the tale, but I hope after this, you never do anything like this again. Kenny Omega will come out the other side, still AEW World Champion.
Boom. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Your preview and predictions for this Sunday's Revolution. I think it's going to be an incredible show. It is loaded from top to bottom. And I would like to thank each and one of you who tuned into the preview and predictions here on the Big Fight Field channel. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. I want you to comment down below. I want to know all of your predictions for this Sunday's Revolution. Leave them down below. I will absolutely respond to your comment down below. Hit that like button if you like what you heard from myself and Noah in the preview predictions video. Follow me on Twitter at Colin_Joseph. Where can they follow you, man, on Twitter?
They can find me simply at @nfoster1916. As always, folks, just enjoy life and enjoy wrestling. And I will be hosting a predictions league for this, too. I cannot wait for Sunday. Joseph, it was an absolute pleasure doing this with you, sir. Cheers to you.
Cheers to you, too, man. Thank you so much for coming on to the show and talking about Revolution. I will absolutely have you on the channel once again sooner down the line. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for joining us tonight, folks. Have a good night. Stay safe. And as always, stay classy.